Hi everyone, it's Professor Hall again, coming to you this time on Labor Day. Hope you all had a great holiday weekend and that you're looking forward to your second full week of classes, especially of course in Education 140 AC. I spent the last few hours looking through some of the work you did this past week around the readings. I've taken a look at some of your whiteboards and the assets you added and read some of your reflections. And I must say, I'm really pleased with what you've done. I think you've gotten it. I think you've wrapped your minds around this notion of literacy as multiple, as being more than one thing, as being historically contingent, as being connected to power and identity, as having something to do also with identity. So I want to review with you just a bit the two readings you had last week. The one by Scribner on the metaphors of literacy, and the one by James Paul G. on literacy as a secondary discourse. These two pieces, in different ways, do the same thing. That is, they kind of complicate commonplace understandings of what literacy is. Scribner does this by pointing out the ways in which there are conflicting notions of what counts as good literacy, while some would have it that literacy should be functional and help us get through our everyday lives. Others think of literacy as somehow connected to empowerment, while others view it as somehow making us better people, helping us achieve a state of grace. And it's Scribner's point that none of these ideas are wrong, and in fact, if we want kids to be fully literate, we would capture all of those metaphors in their schooling in some way. So by offering these or juxtaposing these different viewpoints on what's important about literacy, she helps us understand its multiplicity. Jim G., on the other hand, situates thinking about literacy within this term discourse, and he offers to us the idea of identity kits, or ways of thinking, feeling, being, and acting in the world, multiple ways of doing those things. And of course, literacy he sees as a part of a secondary discourse. And we all participate in many secondary discourses. That is, we all take on different kinds of identities, whether it's mother or sister or student or skier or musician. We have a whole panoply of identities, and with those identities, we have specialized uses of language, including written language and other semiotic systems. So he offers us this way of thinking about literacy as a multiple construct. So as you do your field work and as you begin to go and visit schools and after-school programs and other educational settings, I hope you'll take these ideas about literacy and see how you can apply them. See which of Scribner's metaphors fit. And perhaps you'll see that we need to invent some new metaphors to account for how literacy is taught and learned in these settings. Or you might be alert to the ways in which students participate in a whole range of discourses, and you might be aware of how these discourses permeate or don't permeate classrooms.